Yeah. Anybody there? I think I'm live. It says live.
Yeah, you're live. Maybe it's somewhere else.
Getting a bunch of people checking in. This is my first time doing this, so bear with me. So, I'm just checking in now with our announcement. They never told me what we were doing. Yeah. So, everybody talking right now? So, are you doing? Am I doing the announcement? Yeah, we never said what we're doing. I just thought people asking the question. Am I making the announcement now? So. Sorry about that, everybody. I'm a little bit, just got a little coaching on this. So we're announcing our affiliation with the Minnesota Wild and the Iowa Wild, and I'm pretty excited about it. Tom Kerbers is the assistant GM, and I've known Tom since our playing days. Of all the players that I stayed the closest to over the years, Tom Kerbers is the guy that I've stayed closest to. So it's a unique situation where he's asking, a lot of input from me on players coming to camp, on players being signed, on players going to the development camp, the rookie camp. So Paul Fenton and I played against each other when Paul was a rookie. So I've known him for a long time. That's where we picked up Jake Patterson from Paul. So I've had a good relationship. We were affiliated with Nashville when I was in Rockford, and Paul was one of the main guys back then. So, I'm expecting a lot of, being able to get players into training camp that has been kind of what by having a close team and it's not close driving wise, but it's on the way to Allen. So we're going to have a few more guys in training camp than we've had in the past. And, they're talking to some players that we're both interested in. So I'm pretty excited about what's going forward. And I think we have about 18 players signed right now. I think Tommy's going to start announcing more players, but we've got some great new players and some of our top players back from last year, and some guys that I expect to have back that aren't, that are waiting to see what's happening with Iowa. So I'll open it up. Any questions that anybody has with me? And I'm not sure if I'm reading this or how it's working, so I'm waiting for Tommy to send me a text of how we're doing this going forward. How's the weather down there? I heard it's like 106 or something like that. And I never use this Mac, so I'm scrolling down, see a lot of familiar names. You guys can watch them and see that I don't read with moving my lips. So I got a question here. How many players would you expect the Wild to send us? And you know, right now we're looking at, they've signed a goalie who's a top, you know, he's going to be a depth goalie from them, but he's been a top goalie, and we're pretty excited about the guy that actually has American League experience, game, has done well in the American League, done really well in our league. So right now we're looking at 4 or 5 players under contract, but that could increase over the next couple of months. We're trying to work together and making sure, because last year we ended up a very strange thing that, you know, all our players that were signed weren't used. And, you know, we want to make sure that we both have players under contract that we like, and they warrant the ice time that, you know, when you have a guy on American League contract, NHL contract, you expect that player to be able to be a top player in the league and warrant the ice time. So, you know, we're making sure that any depth guys that get signed, and we've asked some players to wait until they go to the rookie camp and some other guys to wait until they go to the main camp. But the nice thing is I can tell people that they're not signing anybody in the meantime. So it's a great opportunity for guys to go in and show that they can play and earn a spot. Yeah, I got another one here. We're getting a goalie from the Wild. I just mentioned that, and he's really good. I grew up in Minnesota, so it's always nice to be, you know, you be affiliated with a team that you watched growing up. And, you know, for our players, it's a new GM, it's a new assistant GM, and so there's new opportunity. They didn't draft or sign a lot of the players that are there. That doesn't mean those players aren't going to get an opportunity, but I think there's going to be some good opportunity for guys to come in through Allen, develop, and make it to the NHL, just because, you know, with some of the trades that Minnesota did, or, you know, they traded away draft picks because they had Sutter and Parisi, and they were trying to win, you know, while those guys were in their prime. So, you know, they don't have a lot of prospects. So it's a good opportunity for guys to come in Allen and show that they can play and work their way to the NHL. Yeah, we just did I expect this to go on a long time. Most affiliation agreements are year to year. You want to make sure that everybody's holding up their end of the deal. So we just did a 1-year deal, and you know, but I mean, they're excited about working with us, and we're excited about working with them. So I saw why change from San Jose. I think if, you know, I haven't broke up with a girlfriend in a long time, but you try not to say anything negative. You just move on. And we had some good times together with San Jose, and at the end, it became strained from both sides. Of, you know, we did some things that they were irritated with, and then they did some things that I wasn't forgiving of, and it was just time to move on. And so it's done. We won some championships. We've had some real good players come through from them, and you know, I wish them, you know, good luck, but I've turned the page and don't expect to talk about San Jose again. So we've asked about some players coming back. We have a lot of guys re-signed from last year. Some guys are going to Europe. Some guys are waiting, and you know, some guys have been told if they're going to come in, they have to come in under certain conditions, and we got some new top players coming, and some guys that I'm talking to, and I expect this to be the most competitive camp that we've had. Some of the guys that we have some American League experience, and, you know, speed, and you know, big difference from this year from a year ago. You know, we were able to add guys at the end of the season from our, you know, from the rookies. So we got some of the top rookies in the league coming, and there's some of the top new rookies, which we haven't had the last couple of years. You know, just because I loaded up with playoff guys that were veteran guys. So we added up some guys. So we're way ahead of where we've been with good young players, and then coupled with the players that I anticipate getting from the Wild, and guys that we have coming back, and guys that I think I'm close to signing. I'm expecting to come back, you know, with a powerhouse. Somebody said they're going to tell Matt to give me a raise. I already got a raise, so I just got to earn my pay. So I can't talk about the returning players. I mean, we can't really announce, we have a lot of returning players signed. We have a lot of players signed, way more than I had at this time, probably last year. So Chad Butcher, sometimes guys take a little bit longer to get to their junior game. Some guys don't find their junior game. Some guys do. But I like the fact that he had 70 assists. I think the puck possession game that we play, you have to be able to make plays. You have to be able to hold the puck and move the puck. And guys that I've found that have had a lot of assists in the past seem to fit in well with our system. And the affiliate is with the Wild. It's Minnesota and the Iowa Wild. And another question I saw here, we're able to get a lot of players into camp. And which has been a big thing. That the problem is we can't pay to have players go to camp. We can't pay the cost for that. So, the problem with San Jose is it was hard to get a lot of players in there to be looked at because it was so expensive. We would have to have them come into Allen and then San Jose, and they only wanted to do 4 or 5 guys. And sometimes at the end of the year, they say they have some room and we'd add a couple of guys. But, the location of centrally, it's like a funnel coming into Iowa and then down to Allen, and the fact that, I've said it before, having a new GM, that I've known for a long time, and he's trusted my opinion of players for depth guys. So we're pretty excited about that. So our focus on playing defense a little bit more this year. I think we're going to make some changes at the defensive positions. And then, it's a whole team. It's a whole team of defending. I think we have to have a commitment from everybody that understands that if the team's doing well, they'll be doing well, and it'll help their careers. So it can't be just about themselves. It's about the team, and it's something that I think was lost a little bit last year, but, we're going to refocus. And sometimes when things like that happen, you see that you maybe need more focus of that at the beginning of the year. So we want to be hard to play against, and, it'll be a focus right from the start. So one of the things about stabilizing the roster is, I passed on some guys because they wanted, if we're going to pay high-end money, they got to be guys that are playing for Allen and not looking to go anywhere. And, in the past we've lost, last year we lost 2 of our top players. So, I'm trying to avoid that where, if we're paying over X amount, they're staying to play for us. And if that's not fit into what they want to do, they can play elsewhere. I think, Colorado, they did that last year. They didn't loan anybody except for Watson outside of their organization. And, I think they're going to lose some players, some guys that they promised, to give an opportunity to didn't get it. And they're not getting it with the new Colorado team. So I think, there's a chance of a couple of those guys ending up with us. We'll see. And I'm reading as we go here. Status of Riley Gill. I think he's being cleared. I mean, my understanding is he's okay now. I'm not 100% sure where that is, but my understanding is he's been cleared to work. So will the change from Lalonde to Army? When I first started talking to Iowa, they were looking to move. And obviously Lalonde was attractive to me because he was involved and he made some calls. And when I asked him about players, he got information to me right away. Army has not been at this level, so he doesn't really know the players. And then Kerbers is actually trusting my opinion So what we're doing is cross-referencing guys that I like or guys that I've seen, or, there's a player that we're getting close to signing that played for Matt Tkachuk. So, and then we're cross-referencing that with what the scouts say about the players and what they say, because you want to make sure that you have guys that are going to camp, that there's interest from both sides. So really I'm relying more on myself. The Kerbers, when I talk to Tom, it's instant. I get back, we talk a couple times a day, or we text back and forth about players, and it's kind of a unique setup that we have that I'm confident is going to really help to get the right players. That was from Barry Jansen. I'm not used to getting texts from Barry. Usually it's a text to me. He did want to meet, but I'm not coming down to 110-degree weather. I just looked outside. We've had some rain here, but it's beautiful. It's like 75 degrees. I got to do some hard work outside today while the weather's so nice. Probably shouldn't say that, 75 degrees to you guys. And exhibition games coming this season, yes, they are. I'm not sure when we're going to announce it, but they're going to be in Allen. The team that we did this affiliation, and Matt and their GM, we all felt it's important, for the organization to have preseason games. And in our old regime, we had to beg and fight to get a new to get one game. So we're going to have a couple more preseason games at our rink, which I'm looking forward to. And it's nice, because I prefer not to travel. There's a cost involved, but that's a cost of training camp. But I think our fans will enjoy seeing some new players. And I think some of the guys that we have back will come in with a different attitude, is what the plan is. I'm going back through, see if I missed some. Yeah, somebody said something about players and having to replace players if they don't produce. And, you want to show loyalty to players. And so if a player is working hard through, slumps, or, he's doing all the right things, but his game isn't where it's been, as long as the player is doing what he needs to do to give him the best chance to have his A game back, I believe that players can get, if you've done it once, I think you can do it again. But a lot of it depends on the attitude. If the player takes the position that it's not me, it's other people, or I have to play with this guy, or the coach isn't playing me. I've had conversations about the power play, and I'm like, the power play, you guys are in competitive competition with each other for the ice time and who you play with who. So, it makes no difference to me who plays on the power play. But if a guy is not working hard, even strength, it's hard to give him power play time, even if he's skilled. So, you want your leaders to lead by example, and power play time is and ice time is really predicated by how well you're doing even strength. Switching back down to see if I missed some new ones. More like preheat, heat like an oven. I had friends, and my daughter came up here, and they were fishing on the dock one day, and they said that they don't do much outside in the summertime. It's too hot. But maybe I'll post some pictures. My daughter's been out on her swing a lot and jumping in the water and doing a little tubing. My wife wants me to bring the boat back because my son's going to Langley, so we're going to have a little more free time in September. So I've been instructed to bring a boat back, maybe hit some of the lakes around Dallas on our free time. So you guys are going to have to pressure Tommy to start making some more, announce some more players. I have not re-signed anybody, and I do not intend not to re-sign anybody that I think I think a lot of people will expect to see some guys back, which they will be. So if I missed a question that you might have sent in way earlier, you can resend it. Yeah, we checked in as the boys move up, they travel so far, and we did check into some, it's pretty reasonable to fly back and forth between the two affiliations. And the nice thing is, you know, we got a couple of defensemen that we're going to sign. They're going to go to the rookie camp in Traverse City, which I've been to once. I'm going to go back. It's beautiful. If anybody's ever been to Traverse City in Michigan, I was shocked. It's like being it's kind of like being down in Key West. The sand is really unbelievable. It's a great spot to have a tournament. And so we'll have some players that are going to be probably assigned to us playing there, and some guys that we're recruiting along with Minnesota. So that'll be kind of unique. Red Wings still do training. I'm not sure where the Red Wings, we did a training camp when I was at the Red Wings once, and they do partake in that tournament. But I know we were in Flint one time for training camp. Can we know one of the players? Aaron Jens is officially retired. He's not coming back. I think he's working for one of our season ticket holders and getting involved with coaching along with youth hockey with Trevor Ludwig. We're not going to have to worry about goaltending. I think our goaltending is pretty solid. So how many people back from, there's going to be a lot of guys back, but whether, you know, part of it is they're coming back with the idea that they have to change some things, and if they don't change some things early, you know, they're not going to be here long. So I'm not going to, you know, there's a short window to prove that you're serious about your career. And, you know, in Allen, we want to have guys that are serious about, whether they're serious about moving up, serious about winning, serious about coming to the rink and getting better. I think last year, you know, I have a son who's 17 that plays Fortnite, and now I got a little bit of a taste what it's like for, you know, why it's such a fun game is what he's explained to me. I've never played a video game in my life, or maybe played one or two when my son was like 10. But, you know, we got to make sure guys are serious, and number one priority is their hockey career, and making sure that they come to the rink with the idea that they want to get a little bit better every day. And these are kind of some of the things that I think you guys have heard from me over the years, but, you know, we may have got a little bit away from it last year. And, you know, we were third overall in the league at January, right before, you know, right after Christmas. And then, you know, then we had an onslaught of injuries and call-ups and suspensions. So, you know, we want to make sure that if players are going up, they're going, you know, to Iowa. We're still going to loan our young guys and to other places, but want to see the guys that get the most ice time. You know, they're playing for us, or they're in the organization. How's this working out? Because this is the first time we've tried this. I wasn't sure about how I would be able to read all this as we're going through, but looks like the going back a little bit to see if I missed anything. I'm really excited about the new affiliation, and the opportunity for our players, and the opportunity for guys to go into camp. And, you know, last year I could not, the communication was not there in the summertime, and, you know, I missed out on a lot of young guys because I couldn't get a commitment to go to camp. So that's not happening this year. Now, you know, when I talk to a player, if Minnesota's interested, they talk to him right away, and it's helping to add a couple more players that I think could be pretty good young guys for us. And also, you know, some of the guys like, you know, Mikowski. You know, Mikowski's going to go to camp with Iowa and see if he can, you know, whether he gets signed beforehand or not. But he's a guy that's done a tremendous job for us, and we're still trying to help him. And he was married this summer and has a place here in Lucas. So he's one of the guys, and maybe some guys that have played for us in the past are close to the wagon's being circled around some other players. So it's going to be an interesting next month and a half, and I'm really excited about where I'm at with Minnesota and Tom Kerbers and working together and getting some of these guys either signed or into camp or with commitments to come to Allen and develop through Iowa Wild. So I might put my boat in the water today. It's been raining a lot here, so I had it in the driveway, but Lily usually in the afternoon, she's got 4 or 5 friends over. So I have to brag about her today. She went over and did one of her best friends did this volunteer work, and they were feeding the homeless at a soup kitchen. And Lily went there for 3 hours this morning and fed homeless people. So just got back, took a shower, and now she's heading to the mall. Still, some people are trying to get me to divulge who's we have signed. So somebody asked again, how would the decision to go with the Wild? They were looking for a change, and I was looking for a change, and I had a conversation with them, and 12 hours later we made a deal. So it worked out well that even Brent Flair, who used to be the assistant GM, was now one of the scouts. I worked with him in Binghamton and Elmira. So everybody there I've been really comfortable with. I played against the coach. And so, and even the new coach, my daughter's going to Providence, and he coached at Providence. So we got a lot in common, but it's really a unique situation how we're working together. So Barry asked if he's going to be as physical as ever, and we have, small, fast guys, faster guys than in the past. And I think we're going to have a good blend of physical size. We've got, some of the guys that aren't announced are big. But I think we're going to have to make sure that we have the right kind of depth. Last year we lost some depth, and then the second half of the season we were playing shorter with guys from, called up from the SP, and got to make sure that we have a lot of depth and speed. But, I haven't replaced Vincent Arsenault. I mean, he's still on our protected list. So I'm working on a player like him, and I've talked to Minnesota about developing a guy like that. So guys like Vince, kind of hard to replace him, but looking for that guy. And we might throw Josh Thrower a little bit at right wing, which might help his career. I mean, he can play defense, obviously. And we might throw him. So I guess that's a leak. So somebody asked me about how many, players we're going to get from Iowa, and it depends on how many of the guys that we send to camp that might get signed, because they don't have a lot of guys signed. They don't. Last year they had 8 or 9 guys, in Rapid City, and they don't have that many guys signed. And because it's, it's new GM, it could end up being, more players, but it would be guys that we've seen and we both like, and which, is a little bit harder to do because, sometimes you lose out on guys that don't want to do that up. They don't want to go and earn a spot. But the flip side of that is, you make sure guys are signed that you're going to use. Somebody asked about the team employ a sports psychologist, and you're looking at him. I got an A in my freshman psychology course, and so that you're looking at the Dr. Martinson. I'm always available to help them in times of need. But seriously, no, we have a great group of doctors, and if they have stress and other related issues, we do have people for the players to talk to. So anyway, if it slows down, I haven't had lunch yet. What time is it? My wife is in Dallas right now. You might see her there. So I've learned a new respect for preparing meals in advance, not having to run to the store. So I actually refused to make a list and bring it. My daughter makes a list, but gave me a list of things. So I went and picked up some things that you could actually unthaw and cook if you haven't planned out. My wife's usually got everything fresh, but she gave me some helpers for when I guess when I'm gone sometimes and hectic when the kids have busy schedules. So they weren't buying my Spartan cooking, which I always say this is the way I cook. I usually grill something and frozen vegetables and eat pretty healthy, but I've lost about 10 pounds since the season ended, so that's good. So if anybody's got any easy recipes that they want to send me, you just email us, steve.martinson@yahoo.com. But actually, and I keep saying this, but I've got a smoker and I'm gonna blast it up today. I was told by our friendly butcher that I got to make sure I use it once, and then I guess it's like buying one of those iron skillets. You gotta, I don't know what you call it, but anyway, I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna burn it with nothing in there, and then tomorrow I'm gonna make some kind of roast or something. My big plan for the rest of the summer. All right, so I'm just scrolling down here to see if I missed anything when I was yapping about my cooking. I haven't had any chance to catch any fish yet. I've been busy, but you know what? I keep saying maybe next week. And I bought a bunch of new fishing rods, but usually it's my daughter's friends that use them, but they've been pretty silent this summer when it comes to fishing. So I'm excited about the team. I think everybody's going to be excited. We have some new players, some other top guys that we haven't announced yet that I think are going to be fun to watch, and I think we have a really good blend of size and grit and speed and talent. So signed already, and it's still only July, so I'm excited about where the team's going to be, and I'm really excited about working with Minnesota and the Wild, and oh yeah, I guess I'll sign off. I picked up about $500 with the swag when I was there, so I got my Minnesota Wild hat. I have to go down into my kids' rooms to find this stuff. My daughter, I think my Wild shirt is in her closet somewhere, and I do have my warm-up. It's a little too warm for me to wear my warm-up, so there we go. Allen Americans, Minnesota Iowa Wild. Looking forward to winning. Actually, Kerber sent me a message the other day, looking forward to help us win a championship and get back in that finals again next year. So thanks you guys for all tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm ending my live video on 1, 2, 3. It's like when you have surgery. I'll count back 199, 98, 97. You don't think you're going to pass out. 96, 95, 94, and then boom, you're out.